What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. We're trying something new today. We're going to do a POV video for photography, actually. So I'm going to teach you guys some basic tips about framing, composition, how you should expose your image, the rule of thirds, all that good stuff. And you guys will be seeing everything through my point of view with my phone instead of my camera for once, because obviously I can't use my camera to film POV and take pictures at the same time. So it should be fun, guys. It's definitely a new experience for me. Alrighty, ladies and gents, hopefully you can see everything good. So we're going to start with the lowdown pick. So right now I'm at ISO 100. I always like to set my ISO to base 100 whenever it's like this bright outside. I do have a circular polarizer on the front, and I have my shutter speed set to 200. I'm at f4 right now. So we're just going to get a crouch down shot, make sure it's equal, neutral exposure, and there we go. So as you can see the car in my image, there is 3 lines on the grid. I'm trying to make sure the car is in the middle of that. I'm trying to give equal space breathing for the right and the left, and then top to bottom. Unless you're going for more of the sky, if you want to see more of the sky, or if you want to see more of the ground leading up to the car. But mainly I like to stick in the middle, give them both equal due diligence, and make sure they're both in frame. Also horizontal, you want to do the same thing, although it's going to be a little bit more complicated, and it does change, because lighting is different for every single scene and every single second when you're out here shooting. You never know when the sun's going to come out a little bit more, or you'll get some shade. Okay, so we noticed some brush out here. I'm going to stand behind this and try and get an angled shot from this side. But as you guys can see, everything's a little bit too close. Everything's a little too compressed. That is because I'm using a 50mm right now. And so 50 is usually good for portraits and stuff like that. You'll have to be farther away. You'll have to have more distance. It's not quite a telephoto, but it's also not quite a wide angle either. It's just in that sweet spot, you know, for me at least. That's my opinion. So when you're looking at everything, I would say that this would be a good situation to actually change your lens. I'm going to go down to a 35 and see how that looks. Alright, so funny enough, you actually subbed out a 50mm, that pancake lens I just had on there. Well, now I have an adapter with a 16 to 35mm lens, which is actually longer, but it's going to give me that shorter focal length. So this is the 16 right now, which that's not what we need. We need that 35, so bring that in there. And then that's what that 35 looks like. So it gives it some more breathing room, especially on the sides whenever I'm shooting vertical. So let's try and line this up. You guys might not see everything, but and you can see the car is my subject in the middle. Again, I have the sky and ground equal, spacing between them, and then I'm using these leaves kind of as a distraction, a little bit, something to give some additive to the scene, because you can do that. You can do that with anything. You can do that with leaves, you can do that with rocks, you can do that with people if you want. It just depends on what you're going to go for. Remember, photography is an art. Please just try and be creative. A lot of people are going to think you look stupid. Hell, I look stupid right now with the damn chest mount for my iPhone. But still, it's worth it in the end, because you're being creative and you're getting yourself out there. I would say another good trick is for you to get low, you know, kind of experiment with different angles and things that you can use to try and make yourself a little bit better, and to kind of help yourself out a little bit, because not everything has to be shot at that same angle, you know. Funny enough, it's actually better when you shoot at angles that human beings, like, don't shoot at eye level all the time, because maybe not everybody wants to see that. So just shooting low and kind of changing things up a bit, you can really change an image and really make it your own. Because as humans, we see at eye level all day. You know, get low, get high, take a weird angle, maybe take it from the right or the left. Just kind of do whatever, kind of be creative. For that last one, I had my ISO at 100 still. This lens I'm at f8 because it's sharper. For this lens at least, the 16 to 35 zoom, they're sharper at f8. That's where the sharpness reaches its max for me. Plus I have a lot of light coming in. I have a polarizer on here. and a VND. It's a VND slash polarizer, so it's a variable neutral density filter, and it's also a polarizer at the same time just by moving it. And then the shutter speed is at 1/50th right now, which for me is fine. I have steady-ish hands, so yeah. Alright, and we're changing lenses again. Always make sure you turn your camera off whenever you're changing lenses. Okay, go. And we're going to change back to the 50 because I had another idea for another shot. It's going to be further away, so I want that 50 for, you know, that closer reach. Basically, the 16 to 35 that I was just using is more of a wide-angle lens. Really helps you with getting those wider angles. A lot of people use them for landscapes, maybe some street photography. It's great for vlogging. This is what I use for vlogging all the time, a 16 to 35. That's why at the 16 end, that's why I'm so wide, and that you can see everything around me, not just me. You don't want to see my face and my pores and stuff, but you can see everything around me. That 50 is going to be better for portrait photography, like I said, or some close-ups, you know, which I like doing close-ups as well, maybe like a logo or something like that, maybe the tail lights, and that's what that can be used for. Alright, so this 50 I'm back here. It's just a lot of experimentation. I like to kind of walk around, see what kind of angle I want to get most, see how I want to view the car. Like maybe you want to do like a 3/4 shot or something and make sure that's there. So you can angle that. So that one's going to be showing the car, a little bit of the ground. I'd say like 20% ground, car, and then basically the rest is just tree branches. But it's all forest, it's all trees here, right? If you pan to your right, you can actually see houses right there. I purposefully put the car in between those trees and these trees. That way I can get just a scene where it's less distracting, right? You just have the rocks and you have the forest and trees here. You don't have this only sign. I don't want to go too far up. And then you don't have the houses in your background because that's also distracting as well. I don't want that in my image. I just want my car, the road, and the greenery and the rocks behind. That's all I want in this image. So you can kind of play around, take your time with an image. What I found in photography is the more I rush for an image or the more I try and get a picture faster, generally the crappier it's going to be. You want to take your time, kind of just play around and figure things out slowly, because that's basically what this is. This is just figuring things out as slowly as possible, trying to manage your time and manage everything that you're doing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's definitely not going to be perfect. You're not going to take a fucking bucket picture or a Peter McKinnon picture every single time you snap the shutter. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to learn and make sure that you can evaluate yourself critically. So I think we're actually going to move spots from here. Yeah, we're going to switch spots for now. I'm probably going to move somewhere else. And another thing, shoot at a quiet spot. This is near where I work. It's down the street. A lot of people like to do donuts over here. I definitely don't do donuts over here. Sarcasm. But during the day, it's a very peaceful, it's a very nice little, you know, just a little placeholder back here. You're not going to get bothered by a lot of people. So it should be fun. So let's go ahead and switch spots real quick. So we got somebody coming in right now. They're coming their car through. We're just going to let them pass and do their thing. Then we're going to go. It's that same student driver I saw earlier. That's why they're coming back here. So yeah, we're just going to go past this semi right here. And this has a nice area because it has 2 no dumping signs. I'm going to see if I can get kind of in the middle of that. So this is going to be some trial and error. Take your time with this because it's going to be weird. Okay, so after some careful adjustment, we might be in the middle slightly. I did some adjustments. Probably the best it's going to get because I can actually tell that these signs aren't even evenly distributed. So trying to get in the middle of it was a little bit of a challenge. But again, our situation changes. It's brighter. I don't want to have a lot of bokeh in the background, and I want to show the whole scene. So I'm going to have to get further out, and we're going to go horizontal on this one. And again, I want to show those 2 signs, but I'm going to have them at the edges. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but I mean, you're trying, and you're trying new things. That's the only thing that matters. So you can tell they're almost about even. Probably a little bit more right bias than left bias, but again, you can fix that in post. You can edit it. That's kind of the advantage of these cameras. You can edit anything you want to, really. You can do the same with phones, but to a certain degree. Let's try and see if we can get a vertical. Well, actually, no, I don't want to get a vertical because the whole point is there's no dumping signs. So, we're actually going to change spots again. Well, not really change spots, but change perspectives. So there's a ledge over here that I'm thinking I could use this to get high up and get a high picture of the car. This ledge that's right here. So that's just me evaluating my environment and seeing how things are. Now, if I want to do, it depends now what I want. So I know I'm doing a high angle of the car, and I know that I want it to look good, so I can either choose, okay, do you want the front end of the car or do you want the rear end of the car? And I believe in this situation, I am going to go with the front end. And I'm going to angle the car just slightly, kind of like this. You guys will see when I get out. And I'm going to leave the wheel turned. And we'll see how that looks. Again, this is just you experimenting, seeing what works and what doesn't. It's going to take time. Generally, if you're shooting cars, I think you should have a fully open day. You shouldn't have any things that need attention that quickly. I would say at least give yourself about 2 to 3 hours in the beginning when you're starting off, because the difference between you and a professional is the professional is going to be able to figure things out quicker. It's not his first rodeo, but you being a beginner, it's going to take you some time to get used to stuff. So that's the whole situation here. You want to be careful when you're climbing up here too. So now, I don't know if you guys can see this, we have a nice good view of the car. You guys are on wide angle on my iPhone, and I'm punched in just enough. But the thing with that is that truck is in the way. So see, I came up here, I got the car all situated how I wanted to, and then I'm like, well, that fucking 18-wheeler's in the way. So I can do two things. I can either change my angle completely, move to the left, and get them out of frame completely. Which, hey, yay, it works in this scenario. See? Or I can move the car to a different spot. And it just depends on what you want to do in that situation. For me, I just wanted to move to the left. I didn't want to move it just yet. I felt like we had some potential right here. So that's why I did that. Okay, cool. And then I'm using my environment again. You always want to use your environment, use things to your advantage, right? Because that's kind of the cool thing about cameras, is that it forces you to kind of just use your brain a bit, you know? It makes you want to try different things and do different poses and angles, you know? So that's the cool thing about it. Okay, now getting down is going to be the fun part. And I might move the car and schedule it somewhere else. I don't know. Yeah, you got to be careful going down these rocks, because you've got an expensive ass camera in your hands. You don't want to fucking fall. Okay, cool, we're good. Definitely a challenge every day, you know? So I mainly like to use my 50 for basically everything. This nifty 50, if you're just starting off and you need a good lens to start with, I would say use a nifty 50. They're super cheap. I picked this one up used for $99. It is the RF 1.8 STM motor. You can see on the front. Canon lens, RF 50mm, 1.8 STM. I shoot with a Canon R6, if you guys can see that. And like I said, 99 bucks, great on the camera. It does wonders for pretty much anything you want to. It's an extremely versatile lens. I don't have buttloads of lenses because I don't have buttloads of money. I've been doing shoots here and there. I'm not a professional in any means. Trying to be, but maybe one day. And then, like I told y'all guys earlier, for video, I use a EF 16-35 image stabilized f4 lens. This is an older Canon lens. So I need an adapter with it, and this is what I use primarily for video. I sometimes use it for photography, and I had been using it as a 35 until just about yesterday when I got a 35 prime, which primes, in my opinion, are always going to be better than zooms. That's just my opinion. I know some people say that's extremely a fact, or some people say it's a myth, blah, blah, blah. To me, it's going to be better. A prime's going to be better than a zoom lens because you're not sacrificing. You're trying to ask a zoom lens to do multiple things. A prime only has to do one thing, shoot at that one good focal length, right? So if you had somebody on a track team and you told them to do pole vaulting, running track, cross country, hurdles, and all that stuff, they're going to be good at those things. They're not going to be the best at everything. But if you just ask somebody just to be a good, runner in general and just be a good hurdler, they're going to be a great hurdler because they just practice on that one thing. So that's kind of how prime lenses are. They're just that one good thing. That's what they're good at. But they can be versatile because when you're using a prime, just use your feet. Just move back, move forward. That's your zoom lens right there. This was that 35 that I had gotten the other day. It is also an EF lens. Very small thing, but it needs that adapter as well. It's an f2. So yeah, that's basically everything in my kit for now. I have a 16-35 for video, a prime 32 for pictures, a 50mm for pictures as well, and then I have a bunch of audio equipment because I like to record exhaust and kind of monitor that. So that's just me showcasing. Let's try and move spots one more time. I think I have another idea. I might use that hill again, or maybe some rocks. Oh, and another thing, you don't need a lot of equipment to start photography. Like I said, you can just start off with a 50 and then just go from there, see if you like it. Buy a cheap used camera. You don't always need the best of the best. For me, I knew I really wanted to get into YouTube and into photography, so I kind of bit the bullet, invested some good money into it. Not gonna lie, it's expensive, but all good hobbies are expensive, and if you want to start with a budget option for now and just kind of get that figured out, you're more than welcome to do that. Nobody's pressuring you. I would just say just do it. Just go out, create, take pictures. You're only going to get better. It's the saying of you start from the bottom, there's only one way to go, and it's up. And that's how it is with photography. You're going to suck in the beginning. I know my pictures were ass in the beginning. Some of them still are, but you're going up and you're learning and you're doing better things, and the only way is up. You're only going to get better. That's all I have to say at the end of the day. Don't let anyone discourage you. Don't let anyone say that you need this, you need that. You have to start with $5,000 camera and a $3,000 lens and blah, blah, blah. Just go out, do it. Even if you take your grandma's or grandpa's old Canon, Nikon, Sony, whatever. Just get out there and go do it. So for this one, we're going to do a logo shot, a close-up. Like I told you, I love using this 50 for close-ups because it actually is a macro lens. So we can get those real good close-ups all the time. Make sure you're focusing on the subject. And then a little bit of blur in the background. That's no biggie. You're close to the subject. You're giving it a little bit of breathing room to the right side. As you can see, on my camera I have a focus setting where it shows you where focus is. It gives you a little square around it, and you can see the logo is in focus. That's what I want to be the main attraction of this picture. Everything else is just white noise. Everything in the background, I will correct that later in post. It's just bokeh out a little bit, not too much because I'm at f8 right now, so not at all. But the main thing is you're getting that shallow depth of field, and you're trying to see that, hey, there's the logo and here's the car around it. That's what I want to focus. That's at f8. Now let me show you the difference between apertures, right? So f8, I told y'all, includes almost everything in the picture. It's extremely sharp. Well, this baby can go down. Let's just go down to 2.8 and show you guys the difference there. Obviously, I'm letting in more light now, so basically the lower your aperture, the lower your f-stop, the more light you're letting in. So if I go to 1.8, I'm letting in a lot of light. But the further I go, like now I'm at f22, I'm not letting in as much light at all. So I'm going to go to f2.8. I know lower apertures let in more light, but also give me more bokeh, blurred background. Higher apertures give me more depth and more focus field around, and they let in less light. So now I have to adjust the camera to those settings, right? Because now we're overexposed. I'm going to bring my ISO back down to 100 because it was at 200 for some reason. And then I'm going to increase my shutter speed. And I'm going to focus right on that logo again. And now you can see the background is blurred out. I'm a little bit closer. I didn't shoot this image exactly like the last one, but here's at 2.8 and here's f4. Here's 2.8 and here's f4. I really hope you guys can see this. So the background is definitely blurry. I will show these pictures, that way you guys can see them. So I know that on this picture, I'm pretty far away from the car again. I need it to be 50 mil. There's actually something in the frame that is in the way, so I'm gonna have to remove that. I just now noticed it. It's a rag or a t-shirt or some shit that somebody loitered. I don't know, people dump down here all the time. But I mean, I don't want that in my image, so I have to get that out. And try and kick it to the side, because I don't want that in the image. Hopefully no cops show up and think that I just threw that on the floor. Or else I'm going to jail. Just kidding. But now we can shoot the image again. I'm literally sitting down like on my ass right now. And another handy trick is these flip out screens really help you get a gauge on what you're looking at and how you're looking at it. So we're at 2.8 again. I'm gonna put that rock in the image. So we're gonna get a blurry one. I'm going to take multiple because I don't think that last one was even. There is a shadow coming towards the right on that picture, but nothing's going to be perfect. You guys already know this. So we took 2 at f8. I'm going to change it up a bit and show more of the environment. I'm going to go up to 5.6. Go up to 5.6. And now I have to let in more light again. With using my shutter speed. Shutter speed is literally what it says. It's controlling the shutter's ability to close and open during taking a photo. Showing a little bit more of the environment with that one. Looks nice. The sky is good. We're almost perfectly even from side to side. I'm really not a whore about that, you know. I try my best, but it's not going to be perfect, like I said. And we'll do I'm thinking of doing one with these weeds in the way. So that's great. As you guys can tell, I'm kind of front biased. I like taking pictures of the whole car. But also I didn't want to do anything too crazy in this video. I'm kind of just doing basic full shots of the car because I really want y'all to get comfortable with showing the full car before y'all start deep diving into, okay, how can I get a 3/4 back shot?
What did he say?
Can I get just the front bumper, you know? How can I get just the tire shots wheel shots? I want you guys just to worry about framing in the whole car. And that's kind of what the shoot was about, was just focusing on the juxtaposed nature of getting the whole car in the frame, getting the whole car, making that your subject, making that your main focus. That's what I want to shoot right now. That's what's going to happen. And that's mainly what I wanted to focus on. I did a little bit of front angle, a little rear angle, but mainly I just want y'all to see the full car. I did do a mini tutorial on a close-up of the logo because that's, you know, pretty easy enough. But yeah, I would say that's the best thing y'all can work on in the beginning, is just get that whole car in frame and make sure it has enough breathing room from left to right. Obviously every picture is going to look different, but give it some breathing room in the beginning. Give it some space to expand its legs, stretch its legs out. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. I'm going to try and do more tutorials like this in the future. I just wanted this one to be a beginning or intro to the series. I'm doing this completely for free, taking time out of my day to try and teach you guys. So if you guys could maybe leave a like or subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you learned any tips in this video or have any questions, just feel free to comment down below. I will see you guys in the next video.